Hey everyone, So17 here. Let me first, like usual. I know on this picture, non-paid video. Well, I don't own these pictures. I made a thumbnail, non-paid video. Alright, okay. So, here's the thing. This is like, how should I say this? If you guys go back to my Asura and Deku, what if? It's basically the same concept. It's just the thing is, it's just gonna be Naruto, and this one Asura would be, choosing to go to Naruto's, dimension, instead of going into the future where it was My Hero Academia. Now, though, so how we start this off is very simple. It's right when Asura's choosing which dimension, if he wants to go to the future or he wants to go to a different dimension. As well, the Naruto universe is, right in front of him, as he's basically in the middle of all of them, as he just looks in the Naruto universe, dimension, and decides to walk towards it. So, he says, this one, I'll choose to go to this dimension. And she looks at him, and she goes, are you sure? You don't want to go to in the future? He says, no. As you say, one of my choices would have been gone into the future. Who knows if I am the original who made the choice to go to this dimension. And where she goes, I understand. Well then, Asura, you will basically in this dimension have something called chakra, the life energy of people. But you, will have a second energy, your mantra. You will still keep it, and, basically everything else, like I've basically said. You will not have your memories, and your power will be sealed. You may even get your old hair color back. Who knows? Now though, as basically the same thing will happen from the Deku, what if basically she just, does magical, use her magic to put seals on him, as then he just looks at her and he goes, goodbye, Freya. Maybe meet again in this new dimension. As then he walks through the portal. And so, Freya then conjures up another version of her. And she then basically tells her, keep an eye on him. Make sure in this world nothing bad will ever happen to him, or at least try to make him happy. As the other one just says, of course. I mean, we promised him. So basically, she walked through the portal. Now though, after that, Freya will go back to Damaji. So, we then go to Naruto. Everything goes to canon for Naruto. The only difference is, Naruto fights back against the people who try to hurt him, but it is less. How should I say? The people who try to hurt him are mostly drunks. That's all. And it basically, even on the day of, the QB, was killed, that sort of thing, that celebration stuff, yeah, no one tries to harm him on his birthday, which, surprisingly, if you guys really think about this one, no matter what, Asura's presence, as Naruto, would totally change. Like, he would have this aura, no matter what, of difference. No one understands why, but he's different. Not just because he's the Nine-Tailed Fox Jinchuriki, but something else. Even the Nine-Tails doesn't understand what is about this kid that make the Nine-Tails itself want to run. Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, what is a Nine-Tailed Fox demon, aka a big giant creature that is made of pure chakra, that can basically destroy a village, or more, against something that can basically go against other gods, and destroy planets and stars. Do I have to say anymore why the Nine-Tails would be afraid of him? Now though, this is the part where I tried to figure out where I was running into where I was going to get in some trouble with Asura. to be awakened, but I figured it out. But, as I was saying, yeah, the Nine-Tailed Fox doesn't understand why, but he wants to leave Naruto and hide. But, there have been a few times where Naruto has gone to fights with other kids, and his skill in taijutsu is lacking until little moments where the fighting style of Asura comes in, and yeah, he basically uppercuts a kid, grabs his leg, and basically this is a fight when they were like 10 years old, and basically he just slammed them to the ground and then goes to the next one, and well, this is when he basically, I'm kind of saying he saved Hinata around 10 or 9 years old, so yeah. Anyways, and after that beating of these kids and they ran away, the Genin, they basically run away to tell someone. And so what happens next is Hinata wants to thank him, but he's already leaving. Like he didn't even do nothing. Like to him, it didn't matter because yes, Naruto wants to be praised and looked as a basically respected and all that, same as in canon. But we still have to remember, Asura does not want to be, prayed to, aka worshipped, aka attention. He does things not for attention, but Naruto does things for attention. Yes, that's going to be the collision where Asura would be in that sort of he doesn't want attention, but he wants to see if the villagers would actually acknowledge him. So, would he want to be Hokage? In a sense, yes. But if there's someone better than him to become Hokage, then he will not become Hokage. Anyways, though, back to what I was saying of the story. So yeah, and well, that was Naruto's life, a little bit then here and there. Now on to Freya. Freya has been taken care of. Well, how should I say this? Have been adopted, you can say, into the family of the Haranos. By reasons why? Because she is the cousin to Sakura Harano. Basically, the father's, basically sibling. Had a kid during the Nine-Tailed Fox attack, though the parents died, so they've been taking care of. Basically, her name is still Freya Harano. Now, though, she still looks like Freya, just a little bit younger and maybe slightish. Nah, I was gonna say slightish pink, but nah. Basically, she still has her hair color, as in in Damanchi, and so she has been in going through everything with life. As a ninja, she understands ninjas, duties, their responsibilities, what they do, how the ninja world really is like. She understands everything. And so, she, even is in the academy, she has excellent control of her chakra, which is basically, if you really think about her, if she has a lot of magic, she can probably even convert that into chakra, but let's just say she has at least high chonin level. No, high chunin level chakra, not jonin. High chunin level chakra that, at a young, at academy level, should be academy genin, they have high chunin. But anyways, so, hers is basically normal life, no one, tries to hurt her, basically hit, she's not scrounging around like Naruto does. And he's always fighting for his life, basically, to live. Hiruzen's exactly the same way. Council members are exactly the same way. Sasuke is exactly the same. And then, his parents and clan die. Every girl besides Hinata and Freya are basically simps for Sasuke. Which Sakura does not understand why her cousin, or, technically they adopted her, really, into the family, so it's basically she thinks, cousin/sister, does not like Sasuke Uchiha. which she has asked us multiple times, which Freya just says, well, simple, because I choose to. And, well, we do have, though, the academy. Everything goes from there, even to the graduation, the exact same way. Freya has basically watched over Naruto, and, well, Hinata doesn't really, how should I say, she admires Naruto, has a crush on him, even does what she does in canon, but because of Freya basically keeping an eye on him without, doing what Hinata does, she does know about the Nine-Tails. She does feel sorry for Naruto for his life, and she knows Asura's gonna hate her for it, which, a funny thing for her, she's actually afraid of that for some weird reason. She's afraid of, Asura hating him. Now, though, we go to the graduation day. Everything goes exactly the same, including Mizuki's betrayal of Naruto and trying to kill him, and Iruka. We now go to where Iruka is going to be killed, per se, in Naruto's eyes. If he doesn't, think fast enough, Iruka's sensei is going to die, he thinks. So, Naruto does exactly the same way he does in canon, with his knee as, he basically lands and slides with basically Mitsuki goes sent flying as when he gets up. Naruto did learn about the Nine-Tails. And so, when Mitsuki, basically looks up, he goes like, so the demon finally shows himself. As Naruto basically has his head down, his, hair, basically his hair covering basically his face as he's looking down, as he's just clenching his fist, as basically his right fist, as his left hand is on the scroll, basically ceiling. Well, technically, the scroll that basically was in canon that helped him get the multi-shot jutsu. So yeah, as basically Iruka doesn't. It's so hard to get out of here. As basically Mitsuki just like, "What's wrong, kid? You're scared after only one hit. You thought that simple, kick would have knocked me down." As Naruto just says, "Okay, by the way, it's Asura, so PG-13." Anyways, as basically Naruto just basically says underneath his breath, "I'll make you pay." As well, what happens is Mitsuki goes like, "Huh? I didn't hear you." He goes, "I'll make you pay, you bastard." As when he looks up, his eyes are glowing red, but there's no slits. As something is flowing off of Naruto. Basically, they see a red aura's coming off, but Mitsuki sitting laughing, goes like, "Yes! Show me your nature, you demon! This will make it a lot more interesting for me to kill you!" As well, Iruka is saying, that's not the Nine-Tails. Chakra, what is this? As Naruto's hair is, standing up a little bit more. As Naruto basically throws the, scroll of seals, forbidden jutsus, to Iruka as he catches it. As Naruto basically looks at him, he sees the eyes glowing as in, his eyes, basically his eyes are glowing as in then his whole entire eyes are basically covered in light, which Iruka doesn't understand what's going on as he just hears Naruto just says, "Hold that for me while I take care of this trash." As he basically takes off the goggles and throws them to the side. As well, when Mitsuki actually takes out two kunais, Naruto basically cracks his knuckles and just says, "I never liked you. But, since I'm finally awake." As basically, we go into Naruto's mindscape, as the Nine-Tails is basically trying to push his chakra towards Naruto, basically trying to basically make him use his chakra for the very first time, as he thinks this kid's gonna be so easy to, as all of a sudden a wave of energy blocks the path. As basically it divides, well, not basically the room, in which Kurama goes like, wait, what? What is this power? As he just sees someone just standing there in front of basically, that's right behind the wall of energy, looking at this, basically he thinks, weird creature. But he knows it's the nine-tailed fox from the memories he has. He goes, who are you? You insolent human! As he just says, thus, you have quite a temper of hatred. You have only malice. Do you think you can go against the god of wrath? In which Kurama hearing that name, eyes widen. As he goes, wait, what is your name? And then he goes, for that you will find out soon. As the light is still there as the person starts walking into the darkness, as Kurama, yelled out, tell me your name! Slamming his paws and tails against the cage, just trying to get to this person, because this must be the unknown energy that was in the boy, he's thinking. Now though, back to Naruto. He's basically, this energy starting coming off him, more, while he basically has his fists down towards the ground, clenching them. He goes, what? You're mad at me for basically make you lose in all those times of fighting, even ruin your chances of becoming a Genin multiple times? In which Naruto just clenched his fist even tighter. His hair is starting to turn white, which Mizuki is too engulfed in, basically mocking Naruto to understand what's going on, while Iruka's in shock. As Naruto just says finally, you know what? I was gonna take my time in pummeling you to the ground, but you just pissed me off. In which he goes, huh? So when I piss you off, you can't take me on. You're not even again. As all of a sudden Naruto disappears with basically dust space appearing where his feet was, which, Iruka doesn't even understand what's going on. As all of a sudden Mizuki just looking around, Mizuki is looking around, and all of a sudden he hears this Naruto says, "You talk too much!" As basically he just punches Mizuki in the face, slamming his fist into his, slamming his fist with Mizuki's face attached to it, to the ground. Basically his head into the ground, cracking it, and this does send Mizuki up into the air, as then Naruto basically just starts to grab him, slam into the ground, basically 3 times, then throws him into a tree, runs towards him, and then, jumps up in the air and kicks him in the face, basically. In which Mizuki does get sent flying into the tree, into the next one, into the next one, into the next one. While, you have to understand, this was infused with mantra. His powers are awakening, and his base attacks are being infused with mantra. So technically, Mizuki's only alive because he's a Chunin. But still, this is a highly significant damage to where Thousands Naruto beat him. So, after, Naruto walks over to Mizuki, says, get up. I ain't done with you yet. As he sees him, he sees he's unconscious and bleeding. He just says, pathetic. You a Chunin. Lose to someone who's not even getting. So he grabs Mizuki by the leg and just starts dragging him. Now though, we have someone who was watching this unfold, who was about to jump in and to protect Naruto. He was wearing a cloak, but happy that, basically surprised and happy that Naruto unlocked who he really is. Now though, she leaves. And so, we do have basically Naruto going to Iruka, who basically he just lets go of Mizuki's leg, and then he walks over calmly, but inside he's really worried for Iruka. So he picks up the pace as Iruka goes, Naruto, what? As he just hears Naruto before he even saying more, he goes like, Iruka Sensei, are you okay? As he finally has that Naruto personality showing, but with the Asura's voice, in which Iruka was like, yes, Naruto, I'm fine. And your voice, he goes, it doesn't matter. Just come on, we need to get you back to the village. In which Iruka goes, hold up, Naruto. Before we go any further, I want to give you something. He goes, what? It can wait. In which he goes, no. Please, close your eyes. Which Naruto just looks at him and he goes like, I said it can wait. Your safety is way more important to me than this. In which Iruka is touched by this. That Naruto cares for him so much, but he does say, to Naruto, goes, I can't give you, if I, in the hospital. I'll be in there for basically maybe a few days. Who knows? So, I had to give you it now. Which Naruto just sighs and, well, just basically does as Iruka says with, how should I say this? Basically, with fighting, wanted to basically argue more with him, but decides not to, because since he can already tell he ain't gonna get his way. So, as Naruto closes his eyes, Iruka does what he does in canon, is when Naruto feels something on his forehead, he basically opens up his eyes, but then, touches it. He looks at Iruka's head. He goes, congratulations, Naruto, you passed. In which he goes, but I didn't do the jutsu I learned. And he goes, oh, really? He goes, then show me. He goes, sure. As then he basically does the hand, basically puts the fingers in the normal cross. As then he says, multi-shadow jutsu. As then all of a sudden he does 1,000 clones. Now, all these clones can do mantra attacks. So, the chakra is being used, not the mantra. The mantra just reinforces the clones. So technically he has an army, if you really think about it. Anyways, so after that, Iruka eyes wide in shock and goes, I gave you that just because you defeated Mizuki. And now I learned you to this. It looks like you really are a Genin. And basically Naruto basically rubs the back of his head as all the clones disperse. He goes, yeah, thanks Iruka, but now, come on. As basically he grabs Mizuki by the leg, goes over to Iruka, picks him up, and then, which Iruka's kind of shocked. Hold up. Alright, sorry. Anyways, as Iruka waits, wait, Naruto! He was like, what? He goes over to where your goggles are. I got the scroll in my hand. He's like, oh, yeah. So basically Naruto goes over to where his goggles are, uses his feet, throw them into the air, as Iruka catches them. He goes, alright, come on, let's get going. In which, it takes some time for them to get to the village, but due to Naruto basically running at a speed comfortable enough where Mizuki and Iruka will not get hurt anymore, Iruka's kind of surprised because it was faster than what, Naruto could run at. Well, a little bit faster than normal people can run at. Well, technically ninjas. But anyways, based on what I mean by ninjas, I mean Genin level ninjas. So, when they arrive at the Hokage, office, Naruto gives back the scroll, Mitsuki gets taken, Naruto explains what happens, and, well, Iruka was taken to the hospital. But Hiruzen is looking at Naruto, who's still in the office, and goes, Naruto, please, can you tell me why does your look be so different? He goes, what do you mean, Chi-Chi? As he basically crosses his arms while he's sitting down, which Hiruzen is not used to this from Naruto. This look, that he's giving off is not the normal look he gave just a few days ago. He goes, Naruto, you know your look has. He goes, yes, I know. But what you should know is only this. I've awakened something far beyond the norms of chakra. Let's just say that much. Which Hiruzen is looking at Naruto with a calculated stare that is basically known as the professor. As just, what is it then? In which he just smirks. He goes, well, first off, do not worry about the Nine-Tails. It is not of this energy I used to defeat Mizuki. As I probably figured you were wondering, which he goes, how do you know? He goes, well, why would the Hokage look after its weapon? As he basically said, unfolded his arms as quote unquote. In which he goes, Naruto, which he holds up his hand, he goes like, I know you were not treating me as a weapon. But still, not telling me about the dangers I was in. Even letting some of the villagers do what they want. Was highly irresponsible of you, Hiruzen. Favoritism does not matter. This village does not understand. I can leave and become a most dangerous enemy to this village if I ever wanted to be. But I won't. It has not earned my wrath just yet. Besides, as he does get up, he goes, I still will keep my word. Because that is my ninja way. Believe it. As he's just walking, towards the door. He goes, he hears Hiruzen goes, Naruto, please, can you tell me what this power is if it's not chakra? I have to know. If the council members hear of this, they'll demand you to know. Well, they'll demand to know, and I have to tell them. It is a danger to Konoha, then. Which Naruto just looks back at Hiruzen and goes like, it's called mantra. It's similar to chakra, but more stronger. Let's just say that much. I'm only telling you this because of our past, GG. If you were anyone else, I would flip you off and then throw you out the window in a second. But we are family after all. As it basically opens up the door and leaves. Hiruzen, hearing that, blinks for basically 3 minutes and then just chuckles. He goes, even if you have changed in appearance a little bit and attitude, Naruto, you are still the same. But mantra, what is this? So, after that, we have Naruto basically deciding to sleep. And I want to say everything would go from there as in canon, but the thing is, Naruto trains in only physical exercise only. And, he needs to have a faster way of training besides physical exercise and weights. He already knows no one's going to, help him train. And people do charge him the exact, in basically the exact same way as they do in canon, overpricing him. So, I'm gonna say this. Basically, Konohamaru does get flipped on the forehead, as he just says, "I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're basically you're the Hokage's grandson or his mother. You're just some kid who thinks he can take a shortcut to win." Pathetic. As he leaves the room. Basically, Konohamaru gets taught by, the sexy jutsu, but also with combat a little bit. And, we do go to... Oh yeah, by the way, Naruto only took a serious, picture, basically no, makeup. Naruto just wears, basically, he doesn't, he basically decided to not, he basically wears the orange pants for now, but he wears just a black shirt with the armor underneath as the, how should I say this, natural elbow, the sleeves are basically ripped off. So yeah. And basically just wears the exact same like ninja suits as he just sighs. He goes, if I can't buy my own, well, ninja clothes, I have to deal with what I have. That is all. I can't demand them anything. Let's get this over. Let's get this day and done with. Wait, should I even put my headband on my forehead? Put it around my neck for now. So basically that's what he does. And so he goes to the academy. Now though, we have at the academy is an interesting sight. Sakura is there early because her cousin dragged her away. You know, basically to school early instead of, and basically made her eat breakfast, an actual breakfast. You see, in this one, Sakura is a fangirl, but she's also jealous of her cousin, Freya. Harno. She basically is more, basically prettier than her. Basically, this is Sakura's mind and what she thinks of her. She's prettier than her, smarter than her. Way more people like her than her. Guys basically want to date her, and she always denies them, including basically. She was asked by Sasuke Uchiha himself to be his girlfriend. And so, what happened was the most shocking thing ever, to the point where Naruto just, laughed his butt off, where she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in any Uchiha. I'm interested in someone else." In which that's just shocked to Sasuke, because even her basically battle capability is stronger than Sasuke Uchiha himself. Two, it's just baffling that Freya denied him. Basically, by the way, I mean, basically turned him down, denied him. In his mind. But he was never focused on, basically being in a relationship until she came around, so he just sighed in defeat and went back to brooding. Now, though, Sakura questioned why she turned down Sasuke when she had a chance to be with him, and she goes, "Simple. I love someone else. Well, my affections towards him have not been known, but I have a crush on him." Basically, Freya has been shocked by Naruto's appearance and even his smile, and she can't help but feel attachment towards Naruto. Now, though, basically Sakura is looking at, Freya with basically not a glare, but just a normal, chat with her, basically happy look on her face, but on the inside, and her Sakura is just saying anything she can say about Freya. So, we do have Naruto who walks in, who basically looks different than he does. In canon, Naruto has woken up to basically the markings are coming on, basically back on him, and basically a little bit of his hand looks like metal was coming on, basically from his wrist. Basically from his wrist, that's where it stops, and it looks like metal, basically it looks like it was melted off or ripped off of him. As he does, basically he thinks this is just normal because he's so used to that metal being on around his arms to actually be his arms. And when he basically sits at his table and just basically crosses his arms and waiting, Shikamaru after a few minutes does come up and ask him why he's here. He didn't pass. He basically looks at Shikamaru, eyes are still glowing, and just glares at him. He goes "Why do you even care? I know we are friends, but still. You should be happy I'm here." Which Shikamaru goes I know, I'm just confused, man. Sorry. He just sighs and he goes, "No, I'm should be the one who apologizes. I came at you well, with anger when I shouldn't have. I'm sorry, Shika. And when she goes, yeah, dude, your temper's shorter than usual. What happened? He just says this. He goes, something recently happened to me where I pushed myself to the absolute limits. And this happened. I don't know what's this on my hand, but all I know is it's metal. Anyways, he basically just shows the headband that's around his neck. He's like, oh, sorry about that, man. He goes, it's no problem. Anyways, you should probably sit down before Iruka gets in here. In which he does not. So, everyone kind of was paying attention to him, while, Sasuke also paid attention and doesn't understand what's happening. Naruto, who basically was looking where Shikamaru was walking, notices Freya, as he does get up and walks over to her. Which everyone's kind of shocked that Naruto was actually walking over to Freya, in the direction where Freya is, but they also see Sakura, in which they think, oh, he's gonna ask Sakura out. And so when he basically gets where Sakura and Freya are, Ino was already coming in, as Sakura goes like, what do you want, Naruto Baka? He goes, simple. When she goes, no, I will not date you, Sakura says, and he just says, oh, why do you think I was going to talk to you, Haruno? I simply want to talk to your cousin. Well, but not, I don't think he'll say cousin, because, he doesn't know. He goes, so, instead, okay, he basically, I'm going to change that and says, I want to talk to Freya, not you. Besides, why should I even want to talk to you after everything you've done to me? That's just funny. Anyways, Freya, can we talk? In which she says, after this, when Iruka comes in and announce our teams, and if we had to meet our Jonin senseis, then how about Ichiraku's? My treat. In which he has an eyebrow raised, and he goes, really? Really? You want to treat me to Ichiraku's? Alright then. And she goes, great, see you then. And he does nod and walks back to his seat and sits down, crosses his arms, and closes his eyes. Which everyone is just shocked, and Sakura goes like, you want to go on, which Freya goes, it ain't a date, Sakura. It's just two people hanging out. He wanted to talk to me, and if I don't have time for him, I need to make time, and to be fair, eating a meal together is the best time. In which Sakura just, pauses what she was about to say, her mouth opens and then closes it, and everyone agrees to that. So, Iruka, changing the teams up a little bit. Kakashi-sensei is still Naruto's teammate, but instead, since there will be... Surprisingly, I knew where I was going to put Sakura, but I forgot it. Okay. Alright, I got it. So, Sakura is basically going to be on one of a team member. One team's going to have, basically more than one. More than 3. Getting 4. And it's going to be a part of the Ino Shikacho. Reason why? Because just want Ino and Sakura to suffer. So, as Iruka saying the teams, then basically this is what happens. By the way, Freya was the Rookie of the Year for the Konoichis, or should I say the Konoichi of the year instead of the Rookie, which is Sasuke. So, Naruto's grades were bad, anyways. So, Ruka says, for Team 7, your Jonin Sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. And team members will be Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto Uzumaki, in which every fangirl that was not on a team is basically waiting patiently while Freya just grins because she already knows what team she's gonna be on. And so then it goes Freya Haruno, in which all the girls sulk while basically Freya just smirks. Now, Asura looks, basically when he heard that name, looks over at her and has a slight grin on his face. He thinks, clever goddess. So, after that, we do have, everyone leaving while Team 7 is just there. Now, Freya does not sit with Sasuke and, not sit next to the seat next to Sasuke. She sits right in the seat next to Naruto, which is on his right side. And she basically, after an hour of waiting, she goes, Naruto, come on, let's just talk now. I don't, want the Uchiha to hear what we're going to talk about, which that makes Sasuke twitch a little. So, basically, what happens is simple. When they go over, sits, in a seat far away from Sasuke, he just says, so, how does it feel to be a part of the Harunos? And she goes, it's good, but Sakura's just a fangirl and annoying. Which he does not. He goes, understandable. And she just, well, also one time I was like, well, I already know about your life since we've been, in the same class. I just want to know, are you curious about anything? She goes, yeah, actually. She does start poking her finger. She goes, basically out of nervousness. She goes, I saw about your life, and I was wondering, do you, hate, and then Naruto just puts a hand on her shoulder, or Naruto/Asura puts a hand on her shoulder, and then he goes, do I hate you? No. You did tell me you would not know what my life was going to be in this world. So, how can I hate you? And I even did say I'll take on the challenge no matter what. Head on, like I always do. Which I did. Now then. Do not worry yourself, Freya. Besides, it's been interesting, really. In which she does smile at that, and she goes, good. Now, do you have any other questions? He goes, oh yes. Did you put me on your team? Like it was just gonna be you and your, basically Sakura on the team with Sasuke? Which she nods, no. She didn't do anything. She just knew it was gonna happen. And when she goes, all that magic power. You don't usually use it for much. She goes, nope. And I see you need some help with training. I know a couple of things I learned, basically, from the library that may help you. Basically, he looks at her and goes like, really? You'll help me so easily. What's the catch? She goes, nothing, Naruto. Or should I say Asura? There's nothing. Besides, I'm surprised that your personality's changed. You don't show much hostility towards me like you did at first. As then he looks at her and says, well, I have changed a little. In truth, my personality has changed quite a bit because of my old one. Anyway, she does nod. And then he goes, and to be fair, this life has been a pain. In which he just says, can you tell me? And then he looks at her and goes like, if I did, you may blame yourself. Which she just looks at him and goes like, oh. He goes, remember, Freya, I'm an orphan. I have no one at home waiting for me. I'm by myself. And yet now, at first, before I even knew who I was and remembered everything, that bothered me a lot. That did. It did bother me a lot. But now, it doesn't. I don't know what to think. It's only been 2 days since I remembered. The only thing I basically keep my head clear is fighting. That is it. In which Freya just nods in understanding. So, she does say, let's talk about this later, because we have been talking for actually quite a bit, in which it is about time where Kakashi will come in. So, let's just say this. Kakashi says exactly the same thing, tells them to meet up on the roof. Sorry, I had to go on. And then, basically, the whole entire is the same thing about them telling each other everything. So, Sasuke's the same. Freya says her likes. It's just knowledge. Basically, seeing people's reactions to some things. Her family. Friends. Her dislikes. Well, there's a lot of things she'll dislike. And basically many things she doesn't dislike. Which Kakashi says, okay, basically goals. She just says, to be a strong Konoichi in the future. And, well, to help someone that I'm supposed to be looking after. In which, basically, Kakashi says, and, well, basically, I forgot it was dream then goal, but, goal/dream. So, yeah. Anyways, Naruto, he says everything somewhat the same, adding just a few things. Like, fighting was one of them. Well, basically training. How should I say? Another one, hot springs. Dislikes people who basically piss him off. Everything else the same. Dream is to become Hokage. To basically get respect from the villagers, while the goal is to become the strongest ninja in the world. In which, Kakashi says, alright then, meet me at such and such place, and don't basically eat, you'll puke. Give me a minute. Okay, so, after that, Kakashi leaves. Now then, instead of, Sasuke leaving and Sakura fall, it's Sasuke leaves, Naruto leaves, and Freya leaves. So, the whole entire concept of basically Naruto go after Sasuke and, tie him up such, just try to, get a kiss from Sakura does not happen. Instead, it's basically Naruto/Asura and Freya going to Ichiraku's and talking. They basically having a good time. Sakura sees, Naruto and, Freya talking, and basically their mom does not like Naruto, but does not also hate him. And so, even though they are teammates, Sakura's gonna go tell her mom. So, yeah. Anyways, what happens next is simple. Naruto walks Freya home, and then he goes to his own home. When Freya gets into the house, Sakura's mom was basically sitting at the table just with a cup of tea. In which, she has, because Sakura went to Ino's after telling, her mom, basically, Miss Haruno asked, so, did you find who are your teammates? In which Freya goes, yes, I did. She asks, who are they? He goes, Sasuke Uchiha. In which she, smiles, and then she says, Naruto Uzumaki. In which, her basically smile kind of goes into a neutral face. She goes, really? And she goes, yeah. What do you think of him? Which Freya looks at her and goes, oh. What I think? He is, how should I say this, to everyone in this village, the pariah of the village. But to me, he's something more. She's basically looking at him with a, she's basically looking at her with a curious look, as she, saying, you know, she's giving the look saying, go on. She goes, to me, he's kind, gentle. He basically wants to try to help people and such. He wants to basically get everyone's respect. But underneath, he's lonely, afraid. He wants people to acknowledge him and stop looking at him with those glares that everyone gives him. Which, basically Sakura's mom is just looking at her, basically, cousin, well, basically adopted daughter, with basically a neutral face, but is, kind of understanding. She can see it now. And he's also hurt. He may have some hatred towards this village, but he doesn't want to show it. He denies it. But recently, he changed. He's different if he's heard. He has glowing eyes that cover his whole entire, eyes. When he blinks, the light disappears, and then basically, when it's open, they're showing again. His hair is white now, and a little more spiky than usual. He has these weird markings on his hands, have metals, like it just was melted onto him or were ripped off. His personality has changed to a little bit more aggressive, but still have that kind nature to it. And, well, I always knew he would be fun to hang out with, and I was right. In which Miss Haruno just looking at basically her, adopted daughter, and then smiles. She goes, so, do you have a little crush on him? In which her eyes widen, and she goes, maybe a little. He's different from most boys who don't, just want me for my looks. He didn't even pay attention to me till recently. Which, basically, Miss Haruno just looking at her and goes, to be fair, he was more focused on Sakura. But after rejection after rejection and hit after hit, basically every word and hit got way more, how should I say this, without being mean towards Sakura? Basically hurtful and meaner. It's just... I'm not surprised if he won't really care for her that much. Which Miss Haruno does nod and slowly. So, after that, basically she does tell Freya to sit down. And so she goes, after she does, Freya goes like, is everything alright? She goes, yeah, it's, how should I say this? I'm not going to judge you if you like him. I just want you to know that if you do like him, no one's going to give you, or should I say, look at you the same way as they are now. People are going to give you looks, disgust, and they won't understand. Alright, so if you do like him, go ahead. But just be warned. There's a lot, going on that I can't tell you. In which Freya does smile at, basically her mom figure, and just touches her hand, basically that's on her shoulder, and goes, it's alright. I know about the little secret that no one tells about. Remember, I'm smarter than Shikamaru and Sakura combined. I know from the rumors that they talk about him right behind his back. In which, Sakura's mom's eyes widen, and she goes, and you still, and she nods, she goes, remember, a kunai that seals in a scroll is not, basically, how should I say this right? The scroll isn't really the kunai, so the scroll is not the weapon, and the kunai is sealed inside of it. Just like Naruto has the seal of the Nine-Tails on him, right? Which, technically speaking, she does nod. And then she goes, but anyways, I'm gonna go to bed. I already ate dinner. Which she does say, alright, sweetie, night. And so, yeah. I am technically getting tired. I did take a nap earlier before, I started recording, so I'm starting to get tired now. Anyways, I'll just continue on for a little bit. Probably only up to the part where they arrive, which is just in the next few minutes. So anyways, so the next day happens, and, well, Freya eats, Naruto eats, and they do get there early, but they also pack some extra, granola bars, let's just say that much, food bars just to eat before Kakashi gets there, because it may be, longer. Anyways, Sasuke was there, basically they're waiting, they're chatting, Sasuke just brooding, while basically Freya tells him about what she read in a book that basically is on sealing, in which, well, Asura kind of gets interested in it, so he asks if, she wrote anything down about the books, about the sealing. And she goes, a little bit, not much, but I can help you check out the books later then. In which he just looks at her, and he says, can't, they won't let me. She goes, you're a ninja now, if we pass this test. In which he does nod, so she does say, though, she does know this little technique of sealing, but, I can say this about later, because you can probably, which Naruto nods, so, Kakashi arrives, he goes, yo, hi there, which Sasuke just says, you're late, in which Kakashi goes, oh, sorry, I got lost on the path of life, in which, basically, Sasuke just says to himself, or should I say, in the city, yeah, right, probably just lazy enough, didn't want to come out and teach us, so. After that little thing, we do then have Naruto just get up and goes alright, so, what's this test gonna be like? And Kakashi says, glad you ask, which Freya just rolls her eyes. And so this is where I need to stop, because if I go on, I may fall asleep, and I don't want that to happen. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will probably make part 2, probably after I get some schoolwork done, or the night, and I'll try and make it around maybe 12 o'clock, instead of 3 something in the morning. Bye everyone, have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and